I think one of the things I noticed was that when you're in the moment of teaching and you know that there is built-in time to wait for student responses, it seems like an eternity when you're waiting. And one of the things that I noticed was that really there isn't much time that passes. It's not as long as it seems, the amount of wait time. And so it was just a reminder to make sure to honor the think time and the wait time that I'm providing for students, for them to truly explore the thought that they've been asked to explore and not rushing them along. So the think time.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that I've noticed in a couple of lessons since I've taught that and being in different classrooms are the pairings, and how who a child is paired with affects how they work. And the lesson I taught was 5th grade, and I teach 6th grade, so several of the students in the taping are now in my class as 6th graders, and I see them paired with different kids, and I'm seeing them differently in my classroom now than I see them in the tape from several months ago when they were in 5th grade. And so that's curious to me, and I would like to look at that a little further and see how the pairings might affect how a student engages in a lesson. That might be another lesson study.
One of the things I noticed about watching my own lesson, I got to take a step back and see something that I don't usually see. So I don't usually see myself up there teaching, and I don't get to see all of the different conversations that are going on in the room. So it was really powerful for me to hear all of those little sidebar conversations that come up that are lost generally in the whole class conversation, where we're really just highlighting kind of key points. And just the nature of running a class in 52 minutes, 45 minutes, is that you're not going to be able to hear from all learners, but being able to hear from a few is really powerful. Or being able to hear everybody on the video was really powerful, where I'm usually only hearing a handful.
Yeah, I agree with Fran. The one thing I noticed was the lesson that I had done, I had planned with another teacher, so her and I were co-teaching it. She did lose her voice during the night before, so I ended up speaking most of the time. But I was able to hear the conversations she was having. I remember the conversations I had, so to see it on video was really neat, to see what she was talking to the kids about and the questions she was asking, whether they were similar or different to mine. I found interesting.
And going along with being able to hear other voices, I have a couple of groups in that period that was videotaped that has some very quiet students. We've rearranged by now, but at that point in time they were pretty quiet, and I was curious to see and hear what they were coming up with, because I see the artifacts that they turn in. I see their assessments, I see their assignments, I see their notebook, and I see that they have an understanding, but I don't usually hear their voices. So even on the recording, it was interesting that even though their voices were heard, they were still quiet voices, even with the microphone there on their desktop. But it was nice to be able to hear their voices and actually see how they articulate and put things together beyond how they write things down.